Welcome to the podcast. My name is Jody Luke. I'm the executive director of Love Does. Love Does cares for the vulnerable, fights for human rights, and provides education in conflict zones. We found in over 20 years of working in conflict and post-conflict zones that starting schools in these areas gives the biggest opportunity for positive impact. Kids living in war-affected countries, they battle trauma and fear and uncertainty, among many other things. But access to education, especially in this crucial time beyond the academics, gives these kids stability, increased coping skills, brain development, and seems to communicate hope in a way that words sometimes are unable. We started our school in March or the spring of 2023 in Cana of Galilee in the district of Nazareth. And I had the great privilege of visiting that area several times prior to starting this school. And I remember when I was on a tour of the old city of Jerusalem, one of the guides said something that has stuck with me when he was describing the complexity of the area. We had gone to the top of this building and we were overlooking the city. And he noted that the roofs were really close together. They were almost connected. But he said it's the people inside that divide the city, that it's divided into four quarters, and that there's three monotheistic religions, two people groups claim it as their capital, all under the banner of one God. All that to be said, that's a lot on so many different levels, both in Jerusalem and in the surrounding areas. Of course, we're aware of a lot of that. And on May 14th, 1948, the British mandate over Palestine expired and the state of Israel was established. The U.S. recognized it that evening, and I think the USSR several days later. Since then, the state of Israel has fought numerous wars and armed engagements with its neighboring Arab states. And of course, we're coming up on the year anniversary of the Israel-Hamas War in October. I've known our guest on today's podcast for several years, and I have great respect for her leadership, compassion, depth of character, and optimism. She was central in the starting of our school from the very ground up, and it's just down the street from the infamous wedding chapel in Cana, and across the street from our school is John 2:11, and it's inscribed in the wall. And it references the first miracle of Jesus. And if you were walking in the neighborhood, our school would sort of blend in and it wouldn't look out of the ordinary. However, if you walk in the classrooms, I think it's anything but ordinary. I think it's extraordinary. Just seeing all the kids and the staff that are studying with all their various backgrounds and religions. And it's not lost on me that this is the same ground on which miracles have occurred. So welcome to the podcast, Samar. You are our fearless leader and our miracle worker.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody.
And I know we're going to be talking about a lot today that can be sensitive. So I think it would be helpful first to just hear a little bit about your background and your family, your extended family's background, to sort of give some context to the conversation.
Okay, my name is Samar. I live in Nazareth, actually, but my parents come from different villages. One of them from the north of Israel. Actually, he was born in 1934. My father, he was born in 1934 in a small village in the north. North, it's south of Lebanon, very close to the border. He moved 70 years ago to Nazareth for work. This is why I was raised most of the time in Nazareth. He is a journalist and writer for 70 years now, and he still writes now. Yes, he's 90 years old and still writes.
Wow.
He wrote in 3 languages, Arabic, English, and Hebrew. My mom was born in 1938, and she's from Cana of Galilee, same neighborhood of the school, even from the same neighborhood of our after school. So this is my parents. These are my parents. My mother was the first female in Cana who managed to finish high school, even though it was hard. There was no high school in.
Wow.
There was no. Sorry. There was no high school in Cana, but she continued her high school in Nazareth, 1955. So this is my parents. I'm married to Rajai. He's Jordanian. We have one daughter. Her name is Farah, and we live in Nazareth. So this is somehow my background.
You have an extraordinary family. So
Yeah.
have you lived in Israel your entire life?
Yes, as I mentioned, my parents are both of them are Arab Christians, and they were born before the establishment of the State of Israel, 1934, 38. So they got married 64. I was born in Jerusalem actually because my father, this is a privilege, living in a family like this, journalists going all around. I lived in Nazareth. I lived in East Jerusalem. I lived in Oxford, England. I lived 2 years in Jordan with my husband. So I have, this made me who I am. I have deepened my understanding of different communities. We had the friends visiting from so many different backgrounds, Jews, Arabs. When I was a little girl, really, really little girl, we had friends from all over coming, Jews, Arabs, Americans, British, Muslims, Christians coming from Israel and abroad visiting our house. So this is my background that greatly shaped my perspective and values and influenced my belief of living together.
How did we get so lucky to know you? It's got to be God's providence, I would say. I mean, really. But in that way, because of all those experiences, you have so many different perspectives and you can meet people where they're at in so many different ways. In a lot of ways, that's an asset. But have you ever felt like that was a burden?
Yeah, it's not easy. That my how I identify myself, sometimes it's complicated. Who I am, sometimes it's complicated. But I know what I want to do. It helped me to shape my views of life, of uh, what I have in mind. It shaped me the way I am. It's a complex. My identity is a complex. I admit. I admit.
Yeah, but
It's a
it's a
complex.
beautiful, to me, it's a credible asset to the kids at our school. But words do carry a different weight in that region. So, if you're Jewish, you could be Jewish by religion and then also ancestry. Is that right? You could be either. Or let's say if you are a Christian and you're Jewish, you wouldn't say you're a Christian, right?
No, you say Messianic Jew.
You would say a Messianic Jew.
True.
And you are an Arab, but you're also an Israeli. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And it's very complicated. So the state of Israel was established in 1948 and your family predates that date. So how did you get to keep your land? How did that work?
Both my father's and mother's villages experienced battles during 1948, and they wanted people to leave. Even some were forced displacement. Sorry, but they it was all before they decided to surrender. In 1950, my father's village, the residents were offered the chance to relocate to Argentina. Imagine.
Mm.
So, but they chose to stay. Nazareth, the city I lived most of my life in, the Nazareth status as a holy city, as the city of Jesus was raised in, uh, played role and almost wasn't entered by the Jewish army, and they surrendered. Other villages residents were forced displacement, didn't come back, and left to neighboring country like Jordan and Lebanon, and others were displaced, but they left to other cities and villages inside the region, inside what was called Palestine, then Israel. And each village and city has its unique narrative, so it's different. So we kept it in Jish and Cana of Galilee. We kept our land. My parents, from their father's parents, what they had, but many in different villages they had different stories.
It's
Yes.
complicated. It's
Yes.
fascinating.
Yeah.
So a year ago now, which is hard to believe, been fighting the Israel-Hamas war. So what was that like for you personally, your family, the kids at the school, and the staff at the beginning? And what is it like now?
Beginning, you mean before the war?
No, I mean when the war started last
Oh, okay.
October. Yeah, what was it like for you all, um, you know, then and now?
Certainly tough. October 7 was tense, shocking for all of us. What happened to Israeli citizens in the south, killing of 1,200 citizens, kidnapping children, women, youth, elderly families, killing parents in front of their own children was terrifying and really shocking. It brought anger to everybody's heart. I absolutely condemn what Hamas did that day, and it was clear for me that it will start a war, certainly. We didn't have a school for a week or so, but we decided to bring school to homes. If you remember, we delivered educational games, kits for the kids for you to use during the time. That time, after we reopened, we didn't talk politics. We spoke love. Honestly, I didn't expect the war to continue that long. It's almost a year now. I expected to have hostages ceasefire deal or something after some fights, 1 month, 2 months. Today it's almost 11 months, and some hostages were released in a deal, but many sadly were killed, and families are still waiting for 101 hostages. Hopefully, they will be alive, most of them. Many people north and south are displaced. People lost jobs. At the same time, after 11 months of this war, 40,000 Palestinians were killed, including children and women. Most of the population on Gaza are displaced, lack of basic humanitarian aid and access to health services or education. It's very, very sad scene. At the beginning, I didn't want to talk about it, if you remember,
I
about what
do.
was happening, but today I say it loudly. Stop the war. I didn't want to talk about it because we had fear what's going on, but stop the war. I'm pro peace. I'm pro better future for the children. No winners in wars. We need more voices to talk peace, to speak about peace. Our focus in Love School has been maintaining safe and supportive environment for the kids. We take a holistic approach, emphasizing core values of love, peacemaking, non-bullying, while also addressing their educational needs and helping them with homework and exams. And we will do the same in the new school year that just started. Hopefully, we'll do better, and hopefully, the war will end up.
For as difficult as it's been, and I know that it's been difficult because we've been in touch the entire time. I appreciated your leadership, especially at the very beginning, because it is complicated with the students and their families that are coming. I remember you saying there were students that had family in Gaza. There were students that had family fighting in the Israeli army.
Yes.
And so they were, you know, it's very, very difficult. And staff thought different ways. And so you had said, we're not going to be pro this or pro that. We're going to be pro kid during this time. And
Yes.
the kids are always the ones that lose.
Yeah.
They lose the most in that time. And so, when I think about you, though, I do think education has been core to who you are and also your family. Tell us why education. I mean, I didn't know that your mom was the first female graduate from high school in that area. That's pretty remarkable. Why has education been such a priority for your family?
I do believe, and we believe, like especially in a country facing many different conflicts, focus on education can be a powerful way to build better future. Education helps people to understand and appreciate the differences, others' difference, promote peace, provide skills that needed for a stable community. By investing in education, individuals gain knowledge and opportunities that can lead to improve economic conditions and social harmony. Uh, it's a fact. In every educated and developed country, things are more stable. And you remember what I said in the grand opening? I said Cana, where the first miracle happened, where Jesus turned water into wine. We started our first after school, where we turn ignorance into knowledge. We low self-esteem to high self-esteem. We make the unloved to feel loved. So here we are, education wrapped with love. This is our way. I kept saying this all the time. So
You did,
this is
and
hopefully.
you've coined that phrase, and I say it over and over because I think it's such a beautiful description of it. But you were instrumental in starting the school. But explain sort of what was happening. Because we started the school prior to the war. Explain why you thought that would be of value and what you hoped would come from starting a school in this area.
Yesterday, we had a parents meeting, and I told them what my vision is for the school, and it's not new. It's from the beginning. So I wrote it in Arabic. I translated for you in English. I told them, this is my vision: a well-educated and thoughtful generation that promotes peace, has useful social and practical skills, respects others and their differences, works to create a better future for their community, leading to a healthier and more developed society. This is the vision I have for our kids. I really want children to know that they have greater potential, to see children with greater potential to move forward and excel educationally and academically, emotionally, maximize their opportunities to make their dreams come true. I remember once I asked them, what are your dreams? Nobody even thought about it. So I encouraged them. I told them, we are a milestone in your lives. We will help you to have your own dreams. And if it's small, we try to make it wider, think different even. And we want them to, our community suffers from violence, aside from wars and revenge. I do believe that education in loving atmosphere can certainly make a difference, simply to create an environment for them and their families to be better persons and be peacemakers and excel in what they do or study. So this is what I think.
I love your heart for it.
Thank
When
you.
we launched the school, it was a great day. It was one of my most favorite days. And you got an olive tree to represent the ceremony.
Yes.
And it was very hot. I think I almost passed out. And now I know we've done some construction around that. But it was really a beautiful ceremony. So can you explain the significance of us planting an olive tree there in that courtyard?
Yeah, it's still there. I
Good.
assure you, it's still there. Even there is war, it's still there. The olive tree is a symbol of peace. In the book of Genesis, Noah sends a dove out of the ark after the flood, and the dove returns with the olive branch. So it's a symbol of peace. So this is seen as a sign of hope and peace. We planted the tree even before the war, and still there. And yesterday, I added more soil. So maybe it's a symbol of more people
Okay.
talk peace. Peace, I just want people. I felt like I have to do something for the tree. So maybe it was like something I wanted to do for peace. I don't know.
Good. Keep adding soil and water. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. And
water
water,
might
and water, of course. Yeah.
that might be important too.
Hopefully, we will have really all of out of it.
Yes, whenever it actually, I guess it will have olives, so it makes sense. You'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
send it to
yeah,
me. That'll be a great
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Your faith has informed a lot of what you've done and why you've done it. Can you share a little bit about that?
I define myself as a Christian, first of all. I'm a Christian, Arab, Palestinian, I don't know, Israeli citizen. It's complicated, I know, but first of all, I'm a Christian, and I'm taught to love everybody. even my enemy, if I have some. So loving the kids, loving everybody, not to take one side, and thinking of the of all, like a whole package, like a whole package of the region to have safe and live in harmony and live together peacefully. It's part of what I believe in. So yes, this
Yeah.
is simply, love your enemy, love your neighbor, love your. It's biblical. I cannot do something different.
You see it in the way that you lead. And I know that you had a heart for this school being a refuge for particular kids in your community that you felt
Yes.
like were marginalized or that needed extra assistance. How have you and the staff made that possible? And I think it has happened, correct?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you cannot have education without taking care of mental health of the kids. So it's one package. You cannot, if the kids get education but feel unloved or not safe or have fear, their education and knowledge can lead for nothing. We gained zero, nothing. So we noticed some of the kids need psychological educational diagnosis. So we had 5 of them go through sessions of diagnosis, trying to help them more in our after school and the school they attend in the morning, and the parents address the kids challenges and talk with the school. Parents were really thankful. Uh, we are here a milestone in their lives to make their dreams come true, and we should take care of everything in their lives. So yesterday in the parents meeting, we had a lecture about psychological immunity for parents themselves, so they can be
Mm.
strong enough to support their kids. It was good. I think we heard really good feedback. We cannot separate education and mental health. Both can lead to better future. We do not want kids to grow up with scars. You know, when I was 13 years old, I fall down and I cut my tendon. Till now I have a scar. It's a
Yeah.
symbolic, but it's real. I don't want kids to have scars in their soul, in their heart.
Mm.
Because of something that happened and they were kids. Nobody took care of it, or so we try to notice every kid when he comes. If it's the same like the same before, is he looks different, he looks sad, he looks sleepy, some of them, something is going on. So usually we connect the parents, we try to understand what's going on and try to support. You know Yesterday in the parents meeting, the happy part of it, the parents meeting, to hear the feedback. So all of them said they talked about how cheerful the kids are when they come to
Mm.
our school, to the after school. They are happy. They just want to go. Yeah, when I should go. So one mom even said, I myself feel relief when I know
Mm.
that my kid is in your after school and Love Does after school. It's a win-win situation for everybody. So it's very important to have safe environment, to include everybody, to love everybody with all abilities they have. If they have some challenges, or they have and some of them they have challenges, social challenges, or mental, even economic challenges. We try to help. This is why we launched a campaign during the summertime called the book for every kid. So anyone who needed a book for school, we tried to help them. We helped them prepare their bags, and so they were happy. And we try to we take an holistic approach, so we take care of everything.
Well, you're creating a space for kids to be able to be kids, right?
Yes.
And it's been beautiful the way that you've really led through the whole thing. The obviously the war is still going on, so we're starting our new school year. What do you hope for these kids this year? And then what do you hope even in the years to come for this region and for these kids, if you could really project into the future? What would you hope for?
Okay, I feel deep sympathy for everyone who lost loved ones. I believe violence is never acceptable, no matter who is using it. I condemn all acts of violence that cause death, suffering. The harm caused by such violence is far greater than any temporary gain. My deepest hope for the region is lasting hope for everyone, where everyone, both Arabs and Jews, can live freely and fully. I can see a future where people from all backgrounds, I want to see it,
Mm.
live, laugh, sing, dance, study, pray, celebrate without fear. I hope for a time where everyone has access to education and basic necessities of life, creating a world where all communities can live together in harmony. And for the children, I wrote something, children are the weakest link. A chain is only strong as its weakest link. When children are weak, the chain is weak. When the children are weak, community is weak. Stop the war for the sake of the children of the region. Stop the war now to create a brighter, more peaceful future for the children in the region. Stop the war so we can provide the children the opportunity to grow up in an environment of stability and hope, where they can pursue education, build meaningful lives, contribute to their community. Investing in peace today will pave the way for a better tomorrow. Stop the war, no winners. No winners in wars. No winners during wars. All sides are losers. Stop the war. This is my hope.
Well,
I
I
really,
love your
really hope. I really, really hope that this week we will hear something good about it.
mm. Well, I love your heart for the kids because that's where it defaults to every single time. And you've chosen to live in a part of the world that is known for conflict, but you've also chosen to live in a part of the world that's also known for miracles. And
Yes.
I love watching the you facilitate really small acts of miracles within the classroom every day, because I
Yes.
think you come beside these kids and you make them feel seen, you make them seem valued, but it's even more than that because you point them to the extraordinary life and purpose for which they were made for. And you can't underestimate the value of that. And so we live in a world full of complexity, but I love how you lead with clarity, that even in the midst of conflict, that every kid deserves access to education. And it's in the phrase that you coined, education wrapped in love. I love that. And I can't think that there's not a lot of hope and peace in that. So Samar, I think we just got to keep going. And I'm really grateful for your leadership, and I'm grateful for the way that you uncompromisingly choose kids. And so thank you on behalf of a Love Does community. And we're going to be praying and hoping for the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
thanks for your words today, because I know that there's a lot behind it, and just really appreciate the conversation. And so we'll just
Thank you.
keep working together.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for Love Does and what they are doing to our community and country.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Goff here. I've been part of this great caper called Love Does for quite a while. And I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. If you want to have some more information about Love Does, you can go to lovedoes.org. You could also email hello@lovedoes.org. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Here's the important part. Do something, whatever that is. Don't just agree with what you heard. What's your next courageous step? See you later.